What's going on, everybody? This Afro Think Tank. Now, with the latest new trend, the new thing we talking about on the internet with the black Scottish, right? And then we got the black Irish, and then you got the black Welsh, and all the black people in Europe, right? And you got the black people in South America. You got the black people in Central America. You got the African Americans, the black people in North America, right? You even got black people in the Arabia Peninsula, but this ain't about them, right? This is particularly about all the black people who are discovering each other, right? Now, we talk a lot of shit, right? And there's a reason why we do that too, by the way, right? And everybody's discovering each other for the first time. And I want y'all to take this in consideration. I want you to take in consideration that if you are my age, right? I'm 42. If you're my age, you grew up without the internet. You grew up playing Cracker Jacks and playing Pogs, going outside, drawing on the floor, drawing chalk on the ground and skipping. And I'm pretty sure the same thing for you guys in Europe too. And in Africa, playing the same exact games. How ironic, right? And we got introduced to the internet with AOL, right? And the only people who really had the internet were people who lived in countries that were developing the technology and doing and had the money to build the infrastructure for the internet, which just, even though we invented that, nobody tried to tell us though, but it was because of us, right? And so we had stuff like Yahoo Messenger, where we was talking to all these mysterious people that we couldn't see their faces, on Yahoo Messenger. And Yahoo Messenger was the shit. Y'all remember that? Yahoo Messengers was the shit. They had all these little categories. It kind of like Discord right now, right? You couldn't tell us nothing about anything, right? But then, we got the thing called Black Planet. But, websites are not available in all countries, right? So that didn't give us access to each other, right? So the only information we had was based off what the white people, the colonizing savage barbarian that we all collectively live with, gave us the information we can find, right? And so, we never could do it on our own. Then we got MySpace, right? Even with MySpace, everybody didn't have access to MySpace. Most of the people in Africa didn't have their cell phones. Only people that was really rocking cell phones was, people who had money in America, right? African Americans, who helped invent that? Who helped invent the cell phone? We did, right? So you see how we going, how we going with this, right? So, we had the cell phones. I remember having a beeper. You couldn't tell me shit. Beep, beep. I had a pocket full of quarters and a beeper, and we go to the damn payphone, right? And so, we went from beepers to the little Nokia phones. All we could do was make phone calls and play goddamn Snake, right? And then we had Snake in color. You couldn't tell us shit. We was playing Snake in color, right? And then after that, shit, we got these flip phones. Whoop, 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 whoop. We had access to the internet. Couldn't really do much on it because it wasn't that much infrastructure on the internet for us to do anything with, right? We had to go to an actual computer to get on the internet and go to Messenger and all that stuff, But then we started getting smartphones, and then African Americans started to be able to afford smartphones, right? I'm sure the same thing happened over there in the UK, but at the same time, internet wasn't really that developed to give us access to each other. Because if you ain't paid attention, governments love to turn off the internet and turn off access to each other on purpose, right? We see them use that as weapons against society, right? But now, we get stuff like Facebook. All of a sudden, damn Mark Zuckerberg, right? All of a sudden, all we need is one rich, narcissistic, savage barbarian, right? And then what happened? He let us all connect. All of a sudden, we can see the Nigerians popping up, because by this point, the Nigerians started to have access to the internet, right? And this is where the whole Nigerian scammer came along, because smart Nigerians, started to take advantage of the internet, right? Along with the Indians, they started taking advantage of the internet, right? And we started taking advantage of the internet, right? Most of the Nigerian princes on the internet that was conducting scams were actually white people from the middle of America, right? Y'all didn't know that though, but the Nigerian scammers stuck. Then Nigerians, because they're so ambitious, right? You got some that use it for business. You got some that use it for scamming. Because look, when you ain't got money, you scam. So while in America, while the people who couldn't have money in America were shooting each other, killing each other, and selling drugs to communities, the ones in Nigeria, they were just doing internet scams, right? White collar crimes, safe crimes, but they were doing it. Let's just keep it real. They were doing the same thing in India, right? So with Facebook, and then we get to this social media thing with the video, with the camera, all of a sudden, we can see each other. And then we can upload videos and everybody can see it and there's no limits. You mean I can just Pick up a phone and go, wah, 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 wah. And anybody can see it. Because of the ambitions of the savage barbarian who wanted to make sure his technology was all over the world so he can take over. What we end up doing is open up the world for us, right? So by this time, how old are you? We're adults. We're adults by the time this social media thing happened. The generations below us, they grew up with it. But if you're 40, if you're in your 40s, you remember when we didn't have it. So you remember what society's like, how small the world was before social media happened. So once we had this video platform and everybody started to get videos, the black people who had the economic capability to enjoy these things started to do so. So as different African groups started to rise and elevate themselves and be able to afford to get this technology, they started to come on deck. First ones was African Americans, right? And some black Brits, right? Or people in Europe. The second was those Nigerians, right? Because of their industrial capability, right? A lot of people don't know that parallel to America, Nigeria was parallel to America until one specific point where the white power structure decided to destroy Nigeria because they saw what they were doing, right? So they aggravated the Balfour Wars, right? Which they did. The Balfour Wars was started by white people who aggravated the Igbos and got them to fight the houses in Europe. Just the same way they aggravated the goddamn Fulanis and they financed all the terrorist operations in that desert to keep West Africa down. It's always a white person behind it, I'm telling you. You know, but despite that, Nigerians rose and they became just as technologically sound as African Americans. So the first group of people to start chit-chatting with each other were Nigerians and African Americans, right? Now, the Afro-Latinos still kind of stuck it back because nobody seems to care about Latin America, right? Nobody's really fighting for Latin America that much, right? So our Afro-Latino brothers and sisters was a little further behind because they were battling their own CIA aggravated coups and issues, right? Which we need to get to. We need to talk about that in a later date, right? But you see, now we get to the point where we got all these black folks interacting with each other. And of course, when you have interactions, a lot of black folks, no matter where they are in the world, are ignorant as shit. And we have a lot of black folks who are ignorant as shit and bad people altogether. And now you just gave a bunch of ignorant, bad people who are pieces of shit in real life and don't got no friends. You got a lot of them online because they don't have no friends. They're in the house, right? And the only thing they have to do is interact with people on the internet. And since they don't know how to interact with people in real life, they wouldn't know how to interact with people on the internet. And since they're safe behind their computers, they freely can talk as much shit as they want because they know there's no backlash, right? So we got a lot of the worst elements of our society, the people we would never hang out with on the internet talking shit. This is their opportunity to interact because that's all the only intention and emotional stimulation they get is talking shit, right? They enjoy it. We know people like that in our lives that enjoy the shit because they're negative people. Right? But that's usually a minority. Really not that many of them. Right? But for the most part, which is not highlighted because it's not entertaining to see people have a good time. It's not entertaining to see people kumbaya. It's not entertaining to see people loving each other. That's why people don't go see movies where people are getting along. That's why people don't rush to go see movies where people are just running around, having a good time with each other and there's no drama. People love drama. If you ain't got no drama, nobody wants to watch it, right? And you have these things called algorithms that's going to make sure they put all the drama in front of you and only drama pays. That's what TV does. Do y'all remember when it all started on Road Rules? Remember that? If now this is where it all started. During Road Rules, I can't remember the name. But there was an episode where one lady was getting kicked off the show. No, this was Road Rules. And you had the other one, right? There was two of them. One was just on the road. One was just, they was all in the house. It was the very first reality show that we all started to watch. And there was a gay man on there, right? First gay man on live TV, gay black man, right? And there was a white woman who was getting kicked off the show for whatever reason. He was arguing with the black guy and all kinds of things like that. And then as she was leaving, the gay man ran up to the car because he just had to do one last thing. The white woman rolled down the window. He smacked the shit out of her, took her bear, and threw that shit in the goddamn river. That was the moment everything changed, right? That was the moment that Hollywood said, you know what? We don't need any scripted shows and that. We just need to put people who don't get along together, put them in the house, and we'll make a ton of money. And we don't have to pay them like we got to pay these scripted Hollywood shows, right? Because before that, it was just Martin, right? But then once he smacked the shit out of her, that was it. From then on, all reality shows was just a bunch of people who are narcissistic, who don't get along with people in real life, right? And they put them all in a room for 3 weeks and they film all of them, act retarded, right? That's the formula. So of course, social media would do the same thing. They will push only videos that cause drama and chaos because they know people would tune in to see what happened. Just like if two people arguing, everybody's going to stop and watch to see if there's going to be a fight. It's just human nature. And there's been billions of dollars spent to analyze how to make money utilizing human nature, all right? So with all that being said, black people are already the most entertaining group of people on the planet, right? Already. So there's plenty of drama with Latinos, but their diaspora is not that big and nobody cares. There's plenty of drama with Asian people, but nobody cares if Asian people are not doing martial arts. Then nobody cares, right? Asian people are only allowed to do martial arts or be the butt of people's jokes in their movies and TV shows. They've been typecast into that system, even though they have more to them than that. But that's just how it's been. Black people, it doesn't matter what we do. It's entertaining. If you have noticed, it doesn't matter what we do. It's entertaining, right? And when we talk shit, we do it the best because we have more ways to express ourselves. Black people are the most linguistically diverse groups of people on the planet. Anything we do, we can do it with such expression, it shocks those people, especially those people who come from cultures that have zero expression, who take pride in their melancholiness, who take pride in their lack of expression. They actually take pride in it. When us black people, we're the opposite. We always express because we're communal people, no matter what, right? So now we have this thing where all black people are getting online, right? All black people are plugged in because everybody has pulled themselves up economically to where they have access to a phone, they have access to the internet, they have access to making videos, and they have access to each other, right? And the majority of it is positive, and it's not being seen. The majority of the interactions between us diaspora is not being seen. It's all positive because despite what the media would like to have you say, all of us are we're nice people. We are nice people. We're expressive, but we're nice people. We talk a lot of shit, but we're nice people. And that's why we found ourselves in the situation that we are, because we were too goddamn nice. All right. But, I want you to recognize this one thing. All the diaspora, okay, I'm not going to say all of it, but 90% of the diaspora, 90. No, let me back up. If you're a Dominican, have you ever heard that you talk too goddamn loud? If you are a Caribbean, have you ever been told that you talk too goddamn loud? If you're an African American, have you ever been told that you talk too goddamn loud? If you're a black Brit, black Scottish, black Irish, have you ever been told that you talk too goddamn loud? Usually it's a white person or an Asian person, somebody who just thinks that when you express yourself, it's just too much and it's overbearing wherever you are. You taking all the energy out from everything. You overshining yourself just by you talking, being basic conversation that you are doing too much. Even when you get mad, you're too mad. Any emotion that you express is too over the top for other people to handle. Have you been told that? I want you to realize that we're all literally just Nigerians. That's the thing about it. So for the most part, 80% to 90% of the African diaspora out of Africa, no matter where you point in the world, are just Nigerians. And what is a Nigerian? A Nigerian is a person, right, that comes from West Africa, that comes from a place that has many different people, many different kingdoms, many different empires, many different people groups within a geographical location, all wrapped in a line created by white people. It's called Nigeria. But each state in Nigeria is really a country, really an empire, really a separate group of people, separate languages, separate dialects, separate everything, forced to be one under white imperialism. But that's how empires are created, right? Under pressure, after war, things like that. But I want you to understand, from the first African taken in the transatlantic slave trade, all the way to the African that's on the plane right now, headed to the UK, headed to Canada, headed to America. All of us are pretty much Nigerian. Now you can say, what about Ghana? What about Mali and all that stuff, right? Have you looked at a map of where Nigeria is? If you look at the country of Benin, not the city of Benin, that should probably be Nigeria. Look at Togo, right? Look at Togo, it's right there. They're French speaking, but their tribes are connected with the tribes of Benin, which ain't nothing but a bunch of Yoruba people. Yoruba. They're Yoruba. Benin, those people are Yoruba. You look at the people in adjacent to us, they're all connected to the tribes that's right off the freaking borders of Nigeria. You look at Ghana, from this place where I am right now, there are men in this city, in this village, who come from Ghana. There are men who walk to Ghana from here to go fight the Ashanti, beat the Ashanti, and brought some of the Ashanti people back to Nigeria to live as what people like to call slavery, but indentured servants who became family members and part of the community. From where I am right now in Yoruba land, Ghana, there was no border. They didn't see no border. All that stuff that's happening up in the north with all the Boko Haram, the same people that's giving Ibrahim Traoré problems, the same people that's giving the AES problems, is the same people that's giving North Nigeria problems. It's the same Western CIA, FBI-backed terrorist group that's being financed and trained by Western powers to destabilize northern Nigeria in order to steal resources out of the ground from the sparsely populated areas up there in the desert. That's the truth. But I just find it hilarious how we all fight. You got all these people fighting, right? Because they're running into people that's just like them. You see, African Americans, we talk shit. We the best shit talkers. Nobody can talk shit better than us, right? We are professional shit talkers. But we have never ran into a group of people that can shit talk just as good as us, who could give it back to us the way we give it. And some of us are having a problem with that shit, right? And we ain't never ran into a bunch of people, another group of men who had as much confidence as we did when it comes to talking to ladies, like them goddamn Nigerian Igbos. We're like, what the hell is that? You think you're gonna take my girl? We've never had anybody take our girl. We African Americans ain't never had nobody be able to take our girl. Until a Nigerian came along, right? And the funny thing I see is that we're so alike that we have to ask each other, hey, before we start this acrimonious altercation, where are you from? So I know how to talk shit. We can't just do it off the eye test. We can't, because we don't even know. Nobody knows until we open our mouths where we're from. We literally have to identify each other through accent, because we can't with our eyes, because we are the same people. We're all from that part that we call Nigeria, and I always include Ghana, but mostly Nigeria. Mostly, that's why I say 80%. In your DNA, have you noticed that your DNA looks like everybody else's DNA, no matter where they're from? Except for some got more European in them based off their location or whatever. But it's all pretty much the same. Nigeria, mainly. Niger, Congo, Sierra Leone, right? Cameroon. Oh, yeah, Cameroon, that's just Nigeria. It was separated by the year. Those are the same people. the Cameroon should be part of Nigeria. And then you got the Congo, where we're from. Congo is where it all started. And that's where it's going to end. All right? So that whole era, we didn't have countries. When we talk trash utilizing white perspectives of countries. White people are the masters of creating lines and fighting over those lines. We didn't have lines. We respected nature. We didn't have borders. You knew that territory over there belonged to that group, and that territory belonged to that group. And sometimes during war, my territory may get a little bigger. We knew that. We don't need countries. We didn't need that. We didn't need passports and visas. That's a white thing imposed on us that's slowing us down. These borders, these lines, these labels. When in Africa, shit, if I'm part of one tribe and, you another tribe and, what I'm saying? Hey, you bring me some of your women, I'll give you some of my women. We gonna be family. We can share this land, make it bigger, become an empire. That's how we used to do it. That was one way we used to do it. Or we just come over there and take that shit. I mean, let's keep it real. But there was no lines divided. We only divided amongst ourselves in other ways, but lines was not one of them. So as we fight each other on the internet for the dumbest, stupidest reasons, like brothers and sisters and shit, like having a whole house with 15 brothers and 15 sisters fighting over the broom, fighting over the brush, fighting over the remote control. He said this about me. He talking about me. He always bullying me. He think he better than me. Blah, 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 blah. That's how we fight. That's how we fight. Now, everybody gets to watch and enjoy us fight that way, but I need all of us to understand that's how we fight. When white people fight, they kill each other. Like they go to war. Like those World War I, II, and III, which should be called European War I, II, and III, because European War III has already started. It's just on a slow burn, right? They kill each other. They hate each other. They murder each other in very, different ways. They love it. Their whole society is built off creating weapons to kill each other more, to kill each other more efficiently, to kill each other even further away from each other, to the point that now they got having whole fucking drone wars in Europe right now. So all I want us to do is, while we're sitting here fighting each other and loving on each other, just keep in mind we're all literally the same group of people. Now there's some East Africans sprinkled out there starting to travel out. The most traveled black people, because I hear this go around a lot with people in like the UK and some people in Africa. I've heard them say this. Well, they think that African Americans don't travel. African Americans are the most traveled black people on the planet. That you can look it up. African Americans have been traveling more than any group of Africans on the planet. Period. We're the most worldly Africans on the planet because we've had access to it, because we live in the great empire of fucking America, who likes to impose themselves on everybody else. Nigerians are second. You ever wonder why it is that Nigerians are always like right there next to us? We are the same group of people. And we've had access to the same, group of white people. The British, they speak English, we speak English, right? We just with the British 2.0 that said fuck it to British 1.0. That's it, right? And everybody else, all the English-speaking Africans, right, we're all from that particular area. So all it is family fighting family on the globe. Family loving on family on the globe. So if you're a black Scottish, 9 times out of 10, you're probably from Nigeria. Whether you got there yesterday, last month, or 100 years ago. You black Brit, you probably Nigerian. Whether you got there fucking last week, last year, or 400, 500 years ago. If you Caribbean, you're probably Nigerian. Whether you got there last week, last month, or 500 years ago. Either way, you still, your blood, your DNA, everything about you comes from the culture of this place, Nigeria, Benin, Togo, and Ghana. But mostly Nigeria. Like it's literally mostly Nigeria for North African Americans and Caribbeans. Because African Americans, before we became African Americans, we were Caribbean first. Barbadians from Barbados. That was the first place we landed before they beat our ass and then brought us to the mainland. So yeah, so I just want to throw that out, guys. We're family fighting and family on the globe. So when I hear that one black British lady, I love her accent. I don't care. She be talking shit. She be like, I don't want to disrespect the accent because I don't know, but I love it when she talks shit. I'm like, go ahead, say it again. Say it again. Talk about us again. She don't be knowing what she talk about half the time, but she know how to talk shit. When I see her, she remind me of an African American woman. The same spirit. When I see her, she remind me of an Igbo or Yoruba woman. It's the same spirit, that strong ass. I ain't got no cut cards. You ain't gonna talk shit about me without me cutting your ass back with these words and these eyes type energy. That's just what a black woman does. That's just how they are. So, yeah, and I love it. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I'm above the petty shit talking when it comes to certain shit. Now, I'll clap back too, because I like it. I like talking shit, if y'all ain't noticed. But I will only go so far because, despite the shit I talk, I know I'm talking to my brother and my sister. And I just can't talk shit to my elders. I be like that lady Boulay. I just think something wrong with her because it don't make either. As much as I want to just crash out on her and destroy everything about her, she an elder. And to me, I've never seen an elder spend that much time trying to divide black people. Nobody should be listening to her. But I still have a level of respect for her age, if she really exists anyway. If she's real, I don't know if she's real. But I'm going to assume she is for respect reasons, and I'm not going to go there with her. But everybody else around my age, shit, I come for your head. But I do it knowing you my brother and my sister, and I pick your side over anybody else's side. And that's what we got to do. We're going to fight. There's no Teletubby world. There's no Sesame Street. There ain't no perfect world with African Americans and Caribbeans and Africans. You talking about billion? We're 1 billion strong. You think we all gonna get along? Hell no, right? But what we can do is remind each other while we're doing all this shit talking to keep it at a certain level, right? Like I would never use what the white man did to you as a weapon against you. So you South Africans, that's why we come down so hard on you, is because when we talk trash about you guys, we don't go that far, right? When you talk about slavery and you make fun about what happened to us with that, and you, while loving on that white man so much, you make yourself an actual enemy. That's what you do, because that's going too far. Because we would never say anything about, and if anybody has talked about, oh, well, that's why the white man came and did this to you, that's just too, that's over the line. Never use what the white man did to us as a weapon to fight against us. Talk about anything else. Talk about your hairline. Talk about the way you dance or some shit like that. Anything other than that shit. That's the shit we need to leave out the conversation. Talk all the shit you want, but never bring up what the white man did to us, all right, as a weapon against us. Because then we're going to see you just like them. Savage barbarians that need to be eliminated. Okay? Anyway, that's all I wanted to say for now, guys. Tell me what y'all think about this in the comment section. This is Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out.